Okay, how you guys? I'm actually trying to prepare myself before I get ready to teach. Um, my head's all over the place. If you see my lace front, I'll lift it up so you see it right there. I honestly don't care. I'm gonna tuck it just like that. See, my edges are out. I told you guys earlier that I was exercising, and I also just came from swimming because I felt very stressed out. And I know when I start to stress out, I'm going to either do one things. I'm going to, well, two or three, one of three things, or all both. I said all three. I'm going to lash out, which is not a good option. Um, I'm going to eat a lot, which is not going to be a good option, even if I eat healthy things. Or I'm going to work out. I'm going to find that alternative to release, do some creative work or work out. So, out of those three, I tried to take the most proactive and to go and work out. And since I had already worked out this morning, I began to swim. Because swimming burns a lot of calories, and you have to stay kind of focused with swimming, and it calms the body. Um, Having your body underneath the water is really, really good for you. So, yeah, so my lace front was not staying, and I did not put any, um, I don't put a lot of glue and things on top of it unless I'm doing something like, that I don't have time, excuse me, that I don't have time to, fix it. Which reminded me of, um, some of the provisions that, God really has for us. A lot of people are always talking about how they're getting financial wealth because they're seeing a lot of dollar signs in their account, when in actuality, wealth is not just produced by monetary gains. You only need monetary gains to get what the services and the things that you need. So, if, say, for instance, you had $250,000, but you didn't have a breadcrumb to eat, or you didn't have um, a house is going to be more valuable than having that money, because you're going to have to use that money to go and get the things and the services that you need. Um, so basically, that's taken away from your wealth to accumulate and to get the things that you actually need. You definitely need food, and you most certainly need shelter, especially during these times. Uh, Excuse me. Um, another attribute or another thing that, um, you can take this from is, say, for instance, there is, and we have this in our system in the states. We don't have that in other states, in other countries. If you just don't have the funding to get food, you just don't eat. You make ways with it. But in the states, we have a padding system that will help you. It's called the social services assistance, the food stamp SNAP benefits kind of package. Whereas if you don't qualify to have enough money to go purchase food, and you need to have a roof over your head, we will provide that. When I say we, I mean our government will provide that. Um, and that's your means. So although you don't have the funding, even though you don't have the cash, you have what is necessary, versus someone who has $250,000 who don't have food, don't have anything, and now they have to go and, it's not provided to them. It's given. I mean, it's not provided to them. They have to get it. So I just want people to look at things a little bit different, because our system is really much changing, and most people are looking at the dollar signs instead of looking at the value of what we really need. Um, One of the things that I noticed was that, I'm going to upload that video too, about how God was telling me, um, what was going on yesterday, and how he was talking about wealth. Um, okay, so Money became idle. Okay, so I'm gonna read what I had wrote into my journal earlier this morning. So I was like, God, Lord, thank you for today. A little journal. Oh, I love my journal. It's like it says, it's easier to be good if your clothes are fashionable, by Lucy Mallet Montgomery. She's an author. So these are like books. They have like they're journal books. They have little dates and everything, and you probably can see that I don't write my stuff in the same. I don't know if you can see more writing. I don't write them all. I write my dreams in the back, and I write what I have in the day, or my morning wake up things in the beginning. So when it's at the end, it meets up like this. It doesn't go from front to back. I don't know why I do that, but I do. I write my dreams in the back, starting from the middle towards the back, and I write my journal entries from the top straight back. So, anywho, so I put, God, Lord, thank you for today. Thank you, your Tina of grace and mercy. Thank you for reigning and ruling over us all. Sometimes we be tripping. We forget that it's not the money that we need, but the resources. So we have to be careful over the resources that God has given us. Look at all. Oh, before I even say that, God has shown me. If you guys look at some videos before, when I was telling you that how I was struggling, I was trying to work and get a job, and I cannot get a job, and I had to go through this program. They act like they were saying, "Oh yeah, we help and we give you free services," but in reality, you're working for every single thing that you get. If you're in the food stamp line, people will say, "Oh yeah, well those people aren't working." You haven't understood until you went and spent those hours in that line looking for one. You have to go look for a job. So I don't know what anyone else is telling you, but especially if you have like two kids or less, they're gonna have you looking for your jobs. Shoot, even now they have it, like especially if you want to get impact or something like that, you're looking 40 hours for a job, writing those down instead of actually being able to get out and interview and then make yourself better, presentable, making yourself better, helping your family to get better. You're so busy being focused on trying to fulfill what that institution is, that program that's supposed to be helping you, that only gives you a limited amount of resources, is trying to give to you. So you're bending over backwards. I remember for the food stamp office, they had that thing, this transaction, just like they had placed when the Obama administration came in, about having, you can't use benefits after 3 months if you was it, I think if you didn't work or something. It was like after 3 months they would take you off, and it was after the 90 days that was when I really needed the funding the most, because this is when I started getting attacked. This is when I had the concussion on my head. I got a job, but then I got hit by a car. So, yeah. But anyhow, during this time, when I was talking about this and I was thinking about the resources, um, God was showing me how to be a good steward over the things that He gave me. So I barely had. To be honest, I didn't have enough money to pay for where I lived at, because I was literally getting minimum wage. I was working full time, but the rent was so ridiculous. The lights were ridiculous. Um, I Sometimes I needed an Uber, but I'm one of those people, I will save. And if it's just me, and since I don't have any children, I will ride my bike, I will walk, I would do the extra mile and suffer, in advance in order to get something better. So that's what I would, do. And that's the easier way to get healthy. Just knocked out a lot of things. But those were some of the things that God showed me. Like, I literally had to be diligent over the resources and the things and the gifts that He gave me. And I was still kind of upset with that program, because I felt like they still had you going over hoops, and they would talk to some people like crazy. Some of them, and this was a church institution, and some of those people, they wanted to talk crazy to me, but when the facts were there, they saw my check stubs, they saw what I had to write down, so they knew that every single thing, like, I used every opportunity that I possibly had to save the money, and I literally just didn't have it. I remember when they were looking at my statements and things like that, and they were like, "Oh gosh," and they just saw like how good I was at managing money, and it was like I didn't used to be like that. There's some times that I am, and then other times I am frivolous, but during hard times, that's what it was, and later on, God showed me that I was going to have to be a good steward because I'm going to have to help others and people who are not knowledgeable of that power of those things that are there. So um, yeah. So that's why I just wanted to make that reminder of that. So I'm gonna finish that. Um, so it says sometimes we be tripping, we forget that it's not all the money that we need, but the resources. So we have to be careful over the resources that God has given us. Look at all the free food and clothing that we have. We can make it into a restaurant, a clothing boutique, or just preparation for ourselves and others. And then it goes on and it starts talking about, things that are bound to happen. We're getting ready. That it is certain when news and global analysts are telling you blatantly that we're getting ready for a reset, meaning that our system is going into a full start over. Um, and how they're doing it is a 12-step process. And a lot of people have been talking about this since 2006. Um, some of the people started talking about it, like the analysts, like 2009 and things like that. But a lot of people had noticed it, especially if they sold overseas. They noticed what was going on. Fast forward, we are at 2021, and you can see there's no doubt as to where we're at, what's going on, and what is happening. And God just, when He woke me up again this morning, He just reminded me of, everyone's getting really pumped up about certain things, but you need to keep your focus on me because I provide. And two, um, you need to get things in order. So overlook the small things. Like, don't overlook the small things when you're dealing with wealth. Um, let's see. Oh my goodness. I don't want to hear nothing about what does it mean about wealth. I wanted to show you guys about. I'm going to show you about I wanted to show you a Bible verse on about wealth, but most people always show that, oh, wealthy, God doesn't want us to be wealthy. That's not true. So I try not to look at that. God says that we don't have to be rich, but wealth we are supposed to have because we are inheritors, meaning that you use the resources and the things diligently to where and you're using your hands to make things better. Let me see about cows in the field. Cow. I wanted to talk about the famine because this was something that God has been just really reeling in on me. Um, and okay, I don't want the new first concepts. No, I don't want the what's name. I just want the 7 cows. Okay, so basically what I'm looking for, um, uh, 7 cows in the field. There we go. Boom. Okay. You guys, I was just trying to find this and I couldn't remember the verse. So I'm gonna try to put it down here. Um, let's see. And it's let's see. I think that's Isaiah. Is it? Yeah. Isaiah 11 and okay, so basically it's going off of there and it talks about the cows. No, I'll take that back, you guys, because I thought that was the one. Okay. Y'all, this is really getting on my nerves, y'all. I'm gonna try to generalize it. There we go. Doesn't exist. No. Or let's put in famine dream. Okay. And that would be great. Earthquakes. Okay, here it is. Okay. So it was talking about, I'm sorry, let me correct that. Let me take that one off. I knew I was not going nuts. This one is actually from uh, is that in Genesis? I didn't think it was Genesis though. It is. Okay, so the Pharaoh actually had the dream. I'm sorry. So that's Genesis 41, 1 and 57. Okay. All right. So then it said, okay, after 2 whole years, Pharaoh dreamed that he was standing by the Nile. Behold, there came out of the Nile 7 cows, attractive and plump, and they fed in the reed grass. And behold, 7 of the cows, ugly and thin, came up out of the Nile after them and stood by the other cows on the bank of the Nile. And the ugly thin cows ate up the 7 attractive plump cows, and Pharaoh awoke. Okay, and then it goes on and it starts talking about that. What was that all about? I don't know. It's like a little doo. And then it says, and he fell asleep and dreamt the second time, and behold, 7 years, 7 years of grain, plump and good, were growing on one stalk. Okay, come on. We're growing up. And he fell asleep and dreamt the second time. And behold, 7 ears of grain, plump and good, were grown in the stalk. And behold, after them sprouted 7 years, thin and blighted by the east wind. And the thin ears swallowed up the 7 plump, full ears. And Pharaoh woke, and behold, it was a dream. So then, yeah, okay, yeah. So that's what it was. So no one could interpret that dream, but I believe Jacob, if I'm not mistaken. Let me not mess it up. I'm not Jacob, Joseph. Okay, so Joseph. Why do I keep saying Jacob and Joseph? Two J's. Um, weird. Okay, maybe that's them on the other side. Anywho, um, so yeah, so God really was showing me like that even more and more before even everything that happened since February of last year. um, God has just been reminding me of being a good steward. And I need to step up things and to rev up things that He's telling me to do and go full force and don't look at other things. But that good stewardness is just He's been showing me that. And He also showed me how things were going to get better, really, really good after what is going on right now in the world around us. But when trouble really hits and people really acknowledge what is going on, it is going to be so bad that you're going to forget. Because in that Bible verse, if you read that Genesis, that from the first to the 57, 34th chapter, from the first to the 57th verse, you're going to see um, how these people were really living really lavish, how Pharaoh and his people were living really, really lavish. It was the best years ever. And then when the famine hit, they were so messed up. When I say they were so messed up, they were so messed up, they even forgot about the good times that they had. And it was 7 years. It was seven. Seven is the number of completion. So God was showing him how, when he kept showing the ears of corn, because that was corn and cows, when the plump cows were eaten up by the skinny, ugly cows, that was showing you famine. When you have lack of things, that's why the cows look ugly. When you have a lot, it's plump, big, fat. So it was saying at the beginning that we're going to have big, harvest, big things. And then the bad came, and it was so bad that the pestilence and the famine overwhelmed people so much that they forgot about the good times that they had before, just like the ears of corn. That's why you saw the old and the skinny ears of corn eating up the plump ones versus the other way around. And of course, Joseph was able to save the day because he heard God's voice, and God helped him interpret that dream to Pharaoh, which in return, God had already put it into Joseph to help Joseph get to the place that he needed to be. But remember, during that time, they couldn't. It was so good, but they had to provide. They had to cover. They had to put things away. They had so much over, and God was telling them to put 20%. Yeah, 20%, because it was a fifth of it, and do it with like produce and things like that, and do that for 7 years, and let them gather all the food of all these good years that are coming, and store up grain under the authority of Pharaoh for food in the cities, and let them keep it. And that food shall be a reserve for the land against the 7 years of famine that are to occur in the land of Egypt, so that the land may not perish through famine. Okay. So, yeah, because of that, Joseph ended up getting second in command, and he had power. No one else had authority over him other than Pharaoh, physically, other than the Lord, So, yeah. And then also that he took, man, that's crazy. And then after that, it talked about how when the people were so, they were so distressed, how he leveraged that, you know, Joseph leveraged that to his benefit. Even though they did the right thing, they prepared, they got people ready, because there are always some people who just don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes God has to close their ears because they don't want to listen, they don't want to seek the truth. So they don't get the opportunities as other people that had prepared. But because of their disobedience, and because some of them weren't listening, they had that famine, and they weren't prepared, and they were willing to give up. If they serve them, they'll feed them. So now Joseph has taken over from power has been exchanged from where he was at a lowly spot to now he's going higher because of his knowledge and because of the wisdom. Um, and then after that, when they couldn't, they leveraged their themselves, and then they leveraged the land, I think, first, and then no, they worked for him, and then after that, they leveraged their land. So then he became wealthy that way, and I really do believe that is the same way that we're going through this process now. That was also in a process of, if you guys know about the land of the law of reset, which will mean after 7 years. That's why we have things with bankruptcy is dealing with 7 years, 7 years, 13, because those are laws that are still governed to this day the same way, but they were set aside by God to have for issues like that. If you lost your land, you didn't have the land, the reset is giving you a chance to um, have that opportunity to be possessors of it again, or if your ancestors left something and you weren't able to get it, that research is going to give it back to you to start it over. And then on the 50th was the Jubilee, which means 7 rounds of 7 years, 49. That 50th year is the new rebirth, the Jubilee, is a celebration. Which is kind of crazy because we really are at that part too. And that happens every 50 years. And the crazy part about it is what happened before, history tells everything. What happened before usually happens now. We are slow learners, even though we think we are fast learners. We are very much slow learners. If we grasp onto something, we always let something else go down. So, yeah. So, with that being said, like I said, God has told me, because I was like, man, it's an oversaturation of food. It is in my area. Now, there are areas that God has told me to walk into and to help and to assist during this time because they don't have it, so that His people can get it. People. When I say His people, people of the earth, people who are living here with a physical body on earth, they're able to uh excuse me, getting it to get it. And that's whether you believe or not, still his children. What I have noticed, however, is that y'all, as soon as I start talking about God, I have no lookers. I don't think that's true. But what I've noticed is that once once you go into um once you go into that arena, it's almost like you can't turn back because God shows you a lot because He needs more people at this time. And if you're hearing this, it's not a coincidence. I used to think things were just coincidental. No, it's not. Nothing happens on an accident. If you're hearing this, God really needs you. He needs His people. He says that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And that's why you see some people, you're like, oh, well, they did this and they so bad. That's because the laborers of God are few, and it's so much work to do. It's always something to do. So put your hands, roll these sleeves up, get your hands dirty, and get ready to work because this is the time that we need to be showing and representing what God really is and what He really stands for and the truth of it all, because we are all reflections of Him, even though we could never bear His powerful, wonderful light, but we're supposed to be at least glimmers and flickers. Like, no. So yeah, I think that is about it with that one. What else was I supposed to talk about? I done got so thrown off because of the gentleman that came in here. He was just really, my whole vibe was just, it was weird. He kept trying to say someone was using this room for me to get prepared to, and I'm like, okay, well, you guys know I have a proposal to do. I have to speak to, people in this area, in this arena, in this building in like, an hour. you're supposed to have time for me to get together. And yeah, but he was like, I don't see you in the system, blah, blah, this. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, even if you didn't see me in the system, where's the reservations for, just give me any kind of room or something where I can um, prepare myself and get myself ready. And yeah, it was just long overrated. So you guys forgive me for that. But I guess I would say not, because my things, I try to live more authentic than anything. We have a society that goes around presenting a fake as if it's real, and then there are people who go out in the world and they look at that as a standard, as an idol, as a standard or a role model, not even an idol, just as a role model or a blueprint to do something to be successful or to get a certain outcome. And then when they do it the same way that they saw it, they notice that they have a different outcome, and not understanding that what they saw was fake. Okay. What they saw was not real. Things that are real is going to take hard work. It's going to take things that are not going to look so good. They're not going to look so pretty. Okay. Me, okay, I create makeup, but do you see it on my face every single day? No, no, because I have a lot of other things to do. Doesn't mean that I don't like it. Doesn't mean I don't advertise it. But some of the arenas that I play in, sometimes it's not necessary, and you don't have time. If you're cultivating colors and you're doing things like that, sometimes it's better for you to have other people to do or other things like that. It's not gonna always look, it takes time. It's not gonna always look pretty. That's what I wanna say. But when it does, it's on point. But yeah, so um I kind of apologize for being all over the place, but at the same time, I don't, because there are a lot of us who are out there who are all over the place, and you're wondering why. And well, I'm not looking like this person, and I'm not getting it like this person, and we started at the same time, or I did this and I have accomplished this with this person, which you shouldn't compete to anyone anyway, or compare yourself with anyone. But um, hopefully, this gives you um, a true um, a true actualization about um, of my life and what's going on, and how I had to go through go through things and obstacles to get what I needed. So yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. Hopefully, something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. Bye.